What the hell was that? I'm after getting out of bed because I'm just in shock. I'm in so much shock that I'm after getting out of bed right now. Like, what the hell was that by Iowa State? I know, I get it. Addie Brown was out. And Addie Brown, by the way, the most underrated player in college. I'm not going to go as far as to say I think she's the best player on Iowa State. I'm not going to go as far as to say that. What Audi Crooks is doing is fucking insane. But at the end of the day, I think Addie Brown projects to be the best pro. And I think Addie Brown's, with her entire skill set, I'm taking her. I'm at least considering her in the first round next year. Like, she is somebody that, again, I'm very much looking at because I know we're going to be at the end of the first round for the Fever next year. At that playmaking, shooting, stretch 3-4, it is like it could actually be. It's one of the, like, she's a player that could be exceptional. But that being said, Iowa State just lost to. This is the worst loss for a ranked team all year. They just lost to the 5-10 Cincinnati. They just lost to a team that are 5-10. And I get it, conference play is different, but even TCU were taking care of business. And I don't think TCU were that good. I like players on TCU. I like a lot of players on TCU, don't like the team. I just don't think it fits. But Olivia Miles, again, she's Olivia Miles. She's the best guard in the country. But at the end of the day, Cincinnati lost a bunch of close games, a couple of big wins. They lost to, I thought for a second that was Louisville. I'm like, oh, Louisville something. They lost to Ball State by 20. Let's see some of these bad losses. This is not Maryland. This is Miami, Ohio. I played with a dude who went there when they made the Elite Eight in like 2000s. He was like at the end of his career. I was like 18 as a young player. They got killed by Oklahoma State. They lost by 27 to Kansas State. Or is that Penn State? Jesus Christ, it's Penn State. Sorry. No, it's Kansas State. I'm blanking on these logos. Sorry. But like, you're playing Texas Tech, who aren't that good, to be fair, in the next game. Like, it's a weak enough Big 12 conference, and I would say obviously have to play Texas Tech and TCU, but like, they lost to a 5-10 Cincinnati team. Audi Crooks was 10 of 21 from the field. That's her set. She's shooting sub 5 or sub 50% the last two games, and I'm not gonna lie, like, I saw what is, and this is one thing. I know she went down injured. Audi Crooks, and this is the one thing with Audi Crooks. Like, it's a weird thing, and I say this with women's basketball, where it's like the players kind of see what you say about them, which is always an awkward thing, because I think Audi Crooks is fantastic, but like, she deserved criticism after the last game for her defense, and she then freaking commented on one of my TikToks, like after she got a game winner hit over. But like, there's no excuse for this. It's 2 minutes into the game. This is the worst defensive sequence I've ever. This is the worst guarding of a pick and roll I've ever seen. This is so bad. We're gonna go full screen. This is so bad. We are gonna go full screen on this. So she's guarding the player here. This is the ball handler, and she is standing upright. The ball handler comes off the pick and roll, and she is standing here. So what do you expect her to do? Do you expect her to step in and stop the layup, or even jam? Or even jam, let's just say it's a roller, jam, hope that the help comes from somewhere else, and just make a bad read. Like, if she decided to jam up, it's a bad read, it gives up a layup, but jam up and trust that there's help below her? Or does she stand there and watch? She just stood there and watched the layup. Like, that is, in my opinion, one of the worst sequences of play I've ever seen. One of the worst sequences of play I've ever seen from a player a minute into a game. Like, that is one of the worst defensive plays I've seen in my life. And Audi Crooks is the offense, by the way. It's not like Audi Crooks. And looking at some of the responses here, like, they tiled it easy peasy. Like, that's not, like, the other team. When the other team is basically being like, is basically calling you out for your defense. You know it's bad when the other team is doing that. At the end of the day, look, we have to also take into account that, like, this down the stretch in the fourth quarter, it was not Audi Crooks why they lost that game. They weren't finding Audi Crooks on one end. They kept fouling 3-point shooters. They just kept doing really dumb things, the rest of their teammates. It was a really bad game for Iowa State. But again, it's a game where they shouldn't have needed Addie Brown. They shouldn't have even needed to have played well. Like, if this is a team that I thought it was going to be between them and TCU. I thought if they beat TCU, they were going to go undefeated. I genuinely thought they were going to go undefeated this season. But you're seeing teams now actually run the pick and roll. And it's funny because they didn't even run it well. They kept running out of this horn set in the second half. But they just kept getting open shots because whenever they needed to, they knew that they could get into this range right here for a mid-range because Crooks isn't going to step up, or they could just run around there for a layup. And it's like, at the next level, if you're this poor and on pick and roll defense at the collegiate level, like, you're realistically going to be absolutely cooked at the you're going to get absolutely cooked at the pro level. Like, Cincinnati were very good. I mean it. Cincinnati were good. Their first win versus a ranked opponent in 15 years. That it is what it is. I thought they played well, but I thought Iowa State were terrible. And they were genuinely terrible. And just like you credit Audi Crooks with nearly every win, you gotta then point to Audi Crooks in a loss where it's like 9 first half points. It was a ball game, and you can appreciate her coming back. She got hurt in that game, and she came back in the game with her knee heavily strapped up, and it didn't seem to affect her too much. I thought she was better in the second half. Genuinely thought she was better in the second half, but it was a horrendous fourth quarter performance from absolutely everybody on that Iowa State team. And that's a game where you just assume they're going to win. And this is one of those, like, you just kind of turn it off. Like, this isn't even, for example, I'm just trying to think of, like, who they're playing later on that is unranked. So you look at their schedule. Like, Baylor were 22. Like, this isn't even a fucking West Virginia. This isn't West Virginia, who are unranked, but you know they're good. Oklahoma State, you know they're decent. Arizona, you know, maybe not. But even Kansas State, I know they're not the same without Yoka Lee and Serena Sundell. But, like, it's one of those things where you're like, these are unranked teams, but you know they're good. Cincinnati are literally, what are they? Like, they were 5-10. They were 5-10. It's not like they had this absolutely gauntlet schedule. It's not like they were losing to a gauntlet schedule. They had a 2.4% chance of winning. ESPN gave them a 2.4% chance of winning in 2 weeks. They had probably less than a 2.4% chance of winning today. And maybe this is a loss to kicks Iowa State into gear, but, like, as far as the rankings are concerned, they're going to drop into the 20s. They're going to drop into the 20s. Like, it is what it is. It is what it is. Like, you've got you've gotten, can they do it? I genuinely don't know. Like, this was bad enough that it got me out of bed. It got me out of bed to make a video about this because I'm just in shock. I'm genuinely just in shock at what happened. Like, I thought that this was a guaranteed easy win for Iowa State, and I look and I'm trying to see how much Audi Crooks has scored in a bounce back, how much they're winning by, and even with Addie Brown out, I just thought this was a formality, and they were beaten pretty much wire to wire by Cincinnati. They had a little bit of a lead in the third, but, like, wire to wire, it seemed like he was advantage Cincinnati, and Addie Brown's good, but she should not be the difference between being one of the best teams in the nation and losing to Cincinnati.